Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about the classic 1992 film Wayne's World. Now, Wayne's World is a movie based off of the Saturday Night Live skits of the same title, in which Mike Myers and Dana Carvey play Wayne and Garth, two low-life, just slackers that are big into their heavy metal music, and they run this like public access television show from Wayne's parents' basement in Aurora, Illinois. And basically, they take that and run with it with the movie. That's the basic overall small plot. And in the movie, it's expanded in which Rob Lowe plays a really sleazy, like television corporate kind of suit, so to speak. And him and Brian Doyle Murphy, who owns like just all these arcades and whatnot, they basically try and sabotage the show for their own use, and it's up to Wayne and Garth to save the day. And of course there's, like the love story thrown in there too, and how Rob Lowe's kind of taking his girl, but that's not as important. Now first of all, what do I think of this movie? I love this movie. I think it's one of the funniest movies ever made. And part of that is it's not just because a lot of the jokes are hysterical, it's the fact that very few jokes in the movie don't work for me. And the ones that don't work don't make me mad. Like, they're not infuriatingly horrible. And that was something that started in the 90s. I think Adam Sandler was the first one with a lot of his movies where it would start with the whole, there will be a couple of really funny jokes, and then a couple that would just make you really mad. Chris Farley had a couple of those as well, with like Beverly Hills Ninja and Tommy Boy, David Spade, Rob Schneider. Basically, that whole gang, that Saturday Night Live gang, really suffered from that, and now every comedy does that. This is one of the last classic comedies. I would put this, honestly, in the ranks of, say, a Monty Python in the Holy Grail, or an Airplane, and basically how it's very meta humor, it's very satirical, and it works very, very well. I mean, I could list on and on. I could just go on and on about all the funny jokes and gags in the movie, from them singing, from the gang singing Bohemian Rhapsody, to the hockey game, to I don't know, the whole commercial gag they do about selling themselves out. It just goes on and on and on. And I think, honestly, maybe almost even more important than the film being hysterical is the fact that the main characters of Wayne and Garth are just incredibly likable. Mike Myers and Dana Carvey both are so good as these characters, and with them being so likable, you root for them, you feel for them. And this is a movie that's actually deeper, too. Like, it actually has some emotional moments. That said, it's also got a ton of non-emotional moments that are just meant to make you laugh, and it works. Everybody in the movie is really good. The chick that plays Wayne's girlfriend, she's really good. All of their buddies in the movie that are other slackers, they're really good. Rob Lowe's really good, basically because I feel like he's just playing himself. Brian Doyle Murphy's not in it a whole lot, but when he's in it, he's really good. The guy who plays like the bozo cop in the movie, he's really good. It's just a movie filled with likable characters, other than like Rob Lowe, because he's not supposed to be likable. But other than that, like, it's a bunch of likable, funny characters in a very unrealistic setting, sure, but it works because it's very satirical. It's like an Office Space kind of thing. I think, yeah, like, just the humor in general, it's just incredibly clever. And to take, basically the idea of just a small skit and turning it into a theatrical film, I think is challenging enough. But the fact that not only did they make it good, they made it fantastic, just as a testament to how good these writers were. And I think how devoted everybody was to doing this movie. This is a movie I actually saw for the first time recently, so I didn't grow up with it. There's nothing clouding my mind. There's no nostalgia. And coming in with that outsider point of view, and never really seen too many of the whole Wayne's World skits either. I've seen a couple of them, but not too many. So coming out from that outside point of view, I think makes the movie seem even better. The director of the film, I don't know the director's name. It's a female, I do know that. Um, Whoever it is, whatever her name is, apologize, but she's really good. She does a great job with it. Um, I know she went on to do a couple of other things. She actually, I think, directed a couple of documentaries. Like there was the one we sold our souls for rock and roll, which apparently was pretty good. And she just seems like a very talented filmmaker with a big passion for it, and I'd like to see her make some more movies. You know, she probably would have made a much better version of Ricky and the Flash than Jonathan Demme. I mean, come on. Jonathan Demme's a great director, but I never when I think Meryl Streep in a rock and roll family comedy film, I don't think the director of Silence of the Lambs that had, Buffalo Bill and all that. Just saying. But yeah, she does a great job with it. Obviously, like I said, the writing, also the soundtrack. Oh my god, yeah, the soundtrack is amazing, especially the Bohemian Rhapsody scene. I mean, it's one of the greatest songs ever made. It's a genius song, and they incorporated it perfectly. Um, I love also how they make the town of Aurora, Illinois, this fictional little town. I think it's fictional at least. They give it this personality. Like, you get this feeling of what this little town is like, what it's all about, and it's awesome because it's not realistic at all, but it's just this town where it's like, you know what? I would like to live in that town for like, just like a week. That'd be kind of fun to live there. And I think that if you can say yes, like to that with a setting, I think, hey, that means they did their job, and I think they really did do their jobs here with that by making this happy, kind of small little town or city-ish. I think it's supposed to be on like the outskirts of Chicago. But they just did a great job with it, and just giving it this atmosphere and all the characters, all the supporting actors. Forgot to mention Ed O'Neill is in it too. He's very, very good in a very memorable short role as this crazy, crazy waiter. I think that's what he's supposed to be. He's like a waiter or a manager at a diner. The meta humor though is really brilliant. All the fourth wall breaking, it really is brilliant. It's a lot like Deadpool in a lot of ways. So I guess if you like Deadpool, you'll probably like this. If you like movies like Monty Python, I'd say you'd like this. Is the only problem I do have with the movie is the love story is kind of shallow and not the best written, and does feel a little tacked on and totally could have been done without it. But regardless, I mean, even that, it wasn't awful. It just could have been better and less cliche. And of course, you have the whole, Wayne and Garth, get mad at each other, they have to make up. But they did, they get rid of that pretty quickly. But other than those two, for the most part, relatively small complaints, the movie is a piece of comedic gold, in my opinion. And in the end, I'm going to have to give this movie an A-. If you love this movie, I get it. If you don't, I can see why you wouldn't like it, but personally, I do think it's amazing. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching, and be sure to check out our channel in the future for more content, more old movie reviews, and just other different videos. Have a good night, guys. Bye.